Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're going to be breaking down our picks for the top 5 and one worst wizard spells of first level wizard spells. Yeah.
Mine might be controversial, just a little bit.
I have no doubt. That's mine. Mine are probably pretty basic. But yeah, that's the fun of this dynamic. This is why people come to watch us.
Exactly. I'm a contrarian with bad opinions, and you're a par for the course gamer guy.
I get contrarian every now and again. Let's all right. I'll go first. I'll pick one I'm pretty sure we both have.
Okay.
Find familiar. Yes.
Number one best first level spell in the game. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a kind of a do-it-all. I picked Mage Hand for a cantrip. This can do almost as much as Mage Hand, depending on what kind of familiar you have. And in 5e, you can just switch out familiars.
Yep. A recurring theme in my list is the spells that I pick. 4 of them are good at all levels. 4 of them are first level spells that no matter how, when you're into the game, it's a good spell. Find Familiar, like you just said, it's just like this all-encompassing utility thing, right? Like Mage Hand, it's just a way you can navigate the world on a different plane, kind of. But it takes it beyond that by a lot. And more importantly to me, it doesn't really cost you a spell slot because it's a ritual spell, but it's not even a ritual spell you have to recast for the most part. It's a ritual spell you'll cast once, get a little pet, and then you only recast it whenever you're taking a long rest anyway to get your familiar back. And that's like the whole shtick. And it's really good at just being like this free feature-like ability. It's making a lot of use out of the ritual tag. It's making a lot of use out of just being powerful by giving the help action, by delivering things, by moving around and navigating with different senses, giving you flight at level 1, giving you access to blind sight and burrow speeds. Like, it can do so many things. And it does all of those things with just like not even a known first level spell. You just stick it in your spell book. You'd never prepare it. And it's always working for you around the clock with one of the most powerful, like it's this whole ass second character that you have to do things with. It doesn't take your action or anything. You just yell at it. You just mentally yell at it and it just does things. It's really good.
Yeah, we talked about it quite a bit when we were discussing Arcane Eye. What was that, 4th level spell?
Yep. We've talked about Animal Messenger before, a spell that is not as good as Arcane Eye, but it's not as good as Find Familiar either. It's quite bad. It's a 2nd level spell. There's like a lot of spells in this game that are hard to say are usable when Find Familiar exists. It invalidates a lot of reconnaissance. It invalidates a lot of basic like world exploration tools, just because having a bird that can go scout around an area, having a squirrel that can go run down the woods and come back, it's just really handy.
Yeah, no arguments here. But yeah, we'll talk more about that. Listeners, you can go look back at our longer videos for each of these individual spells if you like.
Yeah, if you want a real deep dive on Find Familiar, I'm pretty sure that video was like 20 minutes. It was robust.
I'll probably link it down below if I remember to. Let's just say I did.
Sure.
All right, what's your first pick or your second pick?
Okay, so best first level spell I think is Find Familiar. I think this is a spell you should take on characters that aren't even wizards. I think you take Magic Initiate for it. It's that good. Like, it's crazy good feat. My number, I guess we already buried the lead with putting number 1 first. So, we didn't bury the lead. We're starting from the top. We'll go down. My number 2 pick, is a reaction spell, and it's a very good reaction spell. And this one is one where I kind of cheated too, but I went, let's say I'll use the one I think is slightly better. It's Silvery Barbs. Silvery Barbs is an utterly cracked, busted reaction first level spell that you get that will always be good at all tiers of play all of the time, and only gets better whenever you have more first level spell slots. It's utterly outrageous.
Yeah, that made my list as well. I did not rank these. Mine are just top 5 and in no particular order. Sam's are top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But yes, I also chose Silvery Barbs for all the reasons you said. The reaction spells already are too few and far between, and this is a whopper of one.
Anytime you can get access to a reaction in this game, it is almost invaluable, right? It's such a rare action to use. Being able to do it as a spellcaster means you can do your more spellcasting more times in a given fight, which is just powerful. You're going to get more out of your things. And Silvery Barbs turns misses into hits and hits into misses. It turns like what could be utter disaster and watching someone roll a disadvantage and get a natural one into a reroll that take a better number and be fine now. It is, and then also have advantage on something else. Like Silvery Barbs is utterly cracked. And Shield literally doesn't make my list because Silvery Barbs is on it, because this is if the goal is to be like, oh, if I'm a wizard, what are the good first level spells I should take? I think Silvery Barbs just ekes out Shield and its like usability, because you can use it whenever you're being attacked, you can use it whenever an ally is being attacked, and it also gives advantage. So they're both good independently, and you'll want them at different times, but you probably don't need both in the lower tiers. The upper tiers, you definitely just throw both in your character sheet because they're both amazing. But like, if you're going to take one, Silvery Barbs probably ekes it out.
I actually chose Shield as another one of my picks.
Nice.
Weighing that between that and Mage Armor, but I think Shield is probably a better. And again, another reaction spell. You can't have too many of those. Get them while you can.
I think what really puts both these spells up is also being very powerful, and like where a lot of power comes in reactions. Whenever you know an outcome is going to happen, in these cases, I know I am going to be hit. Being able to know your resource is going to be contesting something, know it's going to be valuable, is huge. When you cast Mage Armor, hypothetically, you may have times where the AC difference between 13 and 11 plus Dex doesn't matter. Hypothetically, you can get crit twice and go down, and the AC that you cast the Mage Armor for literally did nothing. In the case of Shield, you know you're going to get hit, and this is an intervening factor. In the case of Silvery Barbs, you know you've been hit. This is an intervening factor. You can say in these moments, I know I'm not wasting this resource because this resource matters right now. And sure, there's some instances where you'll still get hit by, like, someone will overhit and do, a 25 to hit you or whatever, and the shield doesn't save you. But very often it will, and then it will also last until the start of a full round. You'll be very happy whenever everything else attacking you in between your next turn and now is hitting and trying to hit an AC of 15 or 19, 20, somewhere in the ridiculous high things. You'll see, like, really powerful defensive builds need shield because it puts your AC consistently at 23 at an absurdly low cost. So first level spell slot, you will spend second level spell slots on shield in really competitive games where things are like very lethal just because you need to have an AC of 23 all the time. And it's really good at every single tier you can take it. Like even at first level, saying I will die if that hits me, no thank you, is really good for a first level spell slot.
All right, but you did not have shield.
And the reason I don't have shield is I don't want to tell people to take two reaction spells, especially if they're like a low tier caster. I don't think you take shield over Silvery Barbs in the low tier. I think it's close. I don't think you're going to be like upset if you take either, but I think Silvery Barbs eats it out in utility just a little bit as far as like a thing you'll consistently and readily find things to do with it. So,
but my question is, that's two spells we both have and one spell only I have. So what's another one that which one you think I probably don't have?
Don't have? Okay, that's the bottom of my list. I'll have to go out of order. I don't want to go out of order.
Oh, all right. Go in order, fine.
Number 3 slot, Burning Hands. This is first one level Fireball. It's the damage. Do you not have it?
No.
You don't?
No, I don't. I know we had this talk about Burning Hands, but I only needed, let's see, before I say that. Yeah, I only put one damage spell on my list, and it wasn't this one.
It's Magic Missile, isn't it?
Yes, it is Magic
Missile. It didn't make my list. I knew it. I knew when I looked at this, I'm like, Magic Missile's not on here, and I'm gonna get shit for that. But it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I put it on there.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I guess this kind of encompasses like a top 7-ish. Pick your own top 5 between the two of us kind of deal. So it's more useful for people that way.
Yeah.
So like Burning Hands makes my list. I think because when you look at the first level spells, the only thing that comes closest to it is like Ice Knife, which is a single target effect that hits that an area after the fact for a little bit less damage. So it'll do slightly more damage to one target and slightly less to everyone around it. It is ranged at a better range, so like it's going to be slightly more flexible. It's closer to an actual fireball. But if you're looking for like raw damage in an area as a first level caster, if you want to walk into a fight against a bunch of kobolds and just win the fight because they're all grouped up, Burning Hands is that. And that's a teaching tool. It is the gold standard, the bar level setting for how to deal with area effects, how to deal with groups of monsters. It has a really fun risk reward pattern because it is a cone from you that you have to get up in business, and encourages some risk. It encourages the frontline characters to say, I'm going to take a big risk, and the reward is enormous, right? There aren't many other things in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition where at first level can deal 12d6 damage with a single spell slot, right? If you hit 4 things, you're doing 12d6 damage for a first level slot. That's ludicrous.
You don't see that happening very often, though. But
I don't agree. I think what damage do you think you would need to get out of this to justify it? 2 creatures? That's 66 damage still.
That's all right. I can see sometimes getting 2 creatures. I'm just saying, I don't see many instances where you're getting 4 in this.
Sure. 4 is definitely a lot. I think you will very often hit 2. And I think that is at a floor level, that is great. That is already more than enough damage. That's 3 attacks from your fighter. That's literally saving 3 turns for a first level spell slot functionally, right? Is what it will feel like. Because they have to attack for 2d6 damage a bunch of times with a greatsword. If you ever hit more than that, it's even better. And sure. It sets this damage standard as far as if you want to do damage in an area, you have to say, is this better than Burning Hands? And I think the answer for a lot of first level spells is no. And that's why Burning Hands just tends to take over. Like they made and it's just strictly worse Burning Hands. It's like this little cone of cold, like a baby cone of cold that they released in Rime the Frost Maiden. And it's just 2d8 damage in the same area that's cold. And it's just like, it's just.
Is that Frost Fingers?
Yeah, Frost Fingers.
Yeah.
And it's just worse. It just is. It has lower average, it has lower max, it has lower everything. Like, why would you ever Frost Fingers when you can just Burning Hands? Or even if you're at the table with the DM and be like, hey, I want my Burning Hands to do cold damage, 99% of DMs are gonna be like, cool. Neat.
I think I value range more than you do.
Yes.
You like the whole risk reward thing. I'd rather not risk and just get the reward.
We value different kinds of risk. I think you like volatility is what I would call it. You like things that could have a very big explosive effect or no effect at all. I value trading something like safety for an advantage in a different respect. I value having more possible negative outcomes in the future for a much higher impact now. And then
also like
styles.
I also like, sipping mojitos and blasting kobolds from like 6 miles away.
Sure.
Long before they could ever reach me.
Yeah. If they're good kobolds, you won't see them. They'll be hidden in little warrens poking out through walls and running like good monsters aren't going to do those kinds of things. That's not true. There are some dumb monsters that you'll gladly be able to pick up from 2 miles away, but I don't know. I definitely think Burning Hands deserves a spot on any wizard who's concerned about area of effects. If you're like, how do I deal with lots of things at once? I'm scared of things getting on top of me. What is my answer? It's not Thunderwave, it's Burning Hands.
Yeah, mine is to kill them before that happens. That's why I know. That's when I appreciate friends.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's in part why I chose Magic Missile. I like the range. I like the guaranteed hit and the versatility. Like if this guy looks like he's on death's door, I'll just hit him with 1 Magic Missile and use 2 for somebody that looks a little healthier. Good times.
Magic Missile also just feels good to use, like you cast it and you're like, all right, this is where this damage is going, and that just happens. You have got like some peace of mind, there's some consistency with it, exactly the effect you're getting for the most part. Magic Missile is currently not on my list because I don't think Burning Hands definitely doesn't scale where the rest of my spells do. The rest of my spells are spells I'm happy to cast every level. Burning Hands is really only good in the first 3 levels of play, maybe 5 levels of play if you really stretch it. Magic Missile I think fits in the same category where it's like you're probably not casting this past 5th level. You probably want to be using your first level slots on more impactful things later in the game, which are going to be your reaction spells, which are going to be your high utility like Featherfall effects and stuff. And Featherfall didn't even make my list as well, but that's another very good first level wizard spell that I would always consider throughout all points of the game. But at least in the early tier, Magic Missile is consistent. It's your friend. Well, I don't think it's in my top 5. It is definitely worth putting on a lot of character sheets. I find it very comfortable whenever I'm like, I want a spell that I know is going to do the damage. If I'm at a table with like a DM I don't know, or the encounters have been really volatile, I'll be like, Magic Missile, please, because I will know what this does every single time, and I will never be disappointed by it. And yeah, that's a good reason to take it.
All right. What do you got? No, I chose a magic missile, so I guess it's your turn. What do you got next?
My number 4 has grown on me a lot. This one has worked its way up from being like a mid-tier, I guess it's fine, first level spell, to one where I'm like, no, yeah, this is just good. It's Hideous Laughter. I think Hideous Laughter is low-key ridiculously good for first level spell slots. Like, there aren't a ton of Saber dies. There's like Command, but that's not a wizard spell. There's a couple, like Charm Person is kind of a Saber die, but it's sketchy as to when you can get like the use out of it. Hideous Laughter does a lot of very valuable things. The biggest one being knocking them prone and incapacitating them. Like, this is a universal hold person that you just point at somebody and they fall over and start laughing. Now, they don't stay laughing for particularly long most of the time. Just because the way Saber dies work and how Hideous Laughter makes you re-get saves and get up early and all that fun stuff. At its best, though, Hideous Laughter will feel like a polymorph, and that's ridiculous for a first level spell. If you can just put the ogre out of commission for 3 rounds, that's insane. And Hideous Laughter has the potential to do that for just a first level spell slot and some lucky rolls. For that reason, I think like if you want a Saber die that's consistent and cheap, Hideous Laughter is really good.
All right. So, all right, go through your first 4 one more time.
My top 4 at the moment are Find Familiar, Silvery Barbs, Burning Hands, and Hideous Laughter.
All right. So 3 of those are combat oriented. Okay. My final pick was not. I've chose Detect Magic.
I did too.
Oh,
Detect Magic absolutely made my list.
Oh, right, because you haven't finished. All right, I thought you finished already.
Nope, I got one more to go.
That's why I just asked you your top 4. All right, never mind. All right, both of us chose Detect Magic.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I talked about it briefly with Find Familiar being a ritual spell. Detect Magic feels like a feature. It feels like something that you just expect the wizard to be able to do, where you're in the Arcane Sanctum, you're in the underground dungeon, you're in, the ancient ruins or whatever, and they go, okay, great. No one's trying to kill us immediately. Give me 10 minutes. They sit down, they open up their spellbook, they cast Detect Magic. And now you get some neat world lore stuff. You get some neat ideas about what's happening around you. You get some opportunities to delve into the schools of magic and figure some cool stuff out. It's a great little exploration tool, and it's free. It being a ritual spell, it's the kind of thing where if you're playing wizards, in my mind, optimally, you are only ever preparing the same list of spells, and every other spell that can be is a ritual, because you then have access to all of them all the time. Rituals only as rituals. The rest of the spells just are prepared that you can cast whenever, and you will be maximizing the efficiency of what you can do at any given moment by having access to a bunch of rituals and a bunch of first level spells. There'll be occasionally where you'll be like, all right, I'll stick a spell that I don't need in here situationally that I have to prepare, whatever. It's in my spellbook for when I need to prepare it, and those spells can exist. I don't think they're good most of the time. They're normally too... Like, you have to really know you're going into a high-stakes environment to get, like, protection from energy or something to stick in your spellbook. But Detect Magic is something that you don't ever have to prepare it. It's just in your spellbook. You get it as a ritual. The moment it's in there, it's yours for the rest of the time, and that is good.
Yeah, so I pictured your party just crawling through a dungeon, dragging corpses and bags of garbage and refuse behind them until you get a 10-minute break.
Yep.
All right, let's see what of this pile of garbage is magic, and we'll leave the rest behind.
Take the evocation thing, take the necromancy thing, hope the necromancy thing isn't cursed, and move on. Easy peasy.
All right, that was our top 5.
Yeah, those are top 5. Bob, what's your worst spell?
My worst? I don't know. Let me check.
Mine's a new one, but I'm glad it's the worst first level wizard spell.
Mine is 2. Mine's one we covered recently. Let's see. Is it Distort Value?
It is Distort Value. Oh my god. This was way closer than I thought it was going to be. Our only difference was Magic Missile versus Burning Hands.
No, wait. We have one more, right?
No. Oh yeah, Hideous Laughter and
Shield.
Something else. Oh yeah, Shield. Right, Shield. Because you also use Silver Barbs and Shield on there, and I cheated and put kind of both of them on mine. Yeah, why do you hate? I don't hate Distort Value.
I hate it. No, right.
Why is Distort Value bad? Is the question, right?
I could not think of a single viable use for it when we were discussing it the other day, and even what it's for in a world where this exists, that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, Distort Value is cute. I really like it. I like again that it exists. I think we mentioned it probably could have been a cantrip, and it still wouldn't be
I
that
still
good.
wouldn't take it. Yeah.
Yeah. As it turns out, the gold economy thing, yeah, that's not important. It just isn't. And this isn't an impactful effect worth a spell slot. Almost ever. And normally the outcomes are going to be more negative than positive. This is like the Friends of the first level wizard spell slot if Friends didn't impact something important, because Friends at least influences like charisma checks. This just affects
Friends.
specifically bargaining. Yeah, I like
I could see
value.
myself. Yeah, but I could see myself taking Friends and misusing it.
Yeah, I think the people that take it to store value, it has a tiny little purpose for them in being like, this is a very easy way to play the huckster. This is the very easy way to be the charlatan. You just say, oh, I distort the value of this jade. Now it's worth 40 gold pieces instead of 20 gold pieces. I'm so clever. And then
just lie.
Yeah, that's correct. That's just what you do, is you just
lie.
It
does physically remove blemishes or whatever, but
that doesn't matter.
Whatever.
It affects an element of the game that I say it doesn't matter. It's because your DM is going to give you as much gold as you need, almost always. And the only time you're not going to get as much gold as you need is whenever you're supposed to make difficult choices. Whenever you're supposed to say, I do this or I do that. That is the point of gold.
That may be the most controversial thing you've said. We're going to get comments about that.
About gold not matter.
No,
it's just how the game works.
Your DM is going to give you the gold you need.
Correct. So the gold they think you need may be a better way to phrase it. The gold they believe you should have access to for their game. And that makes the store value not function, because then it's just into their equation to go, okay, they're going to store value of these things, whatever. They have slightly more gold. Whoopee. They've done it. They can now afford a magic item and a half instead of a magic item. Huzzah. It is not.
It's going to be that even that effective.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not going to have magic item buying money. You're talking about, oh, now they can afford a 35 silver piece wooden shield. That's
like, and I'll be honest, if we're at a game where that matters, if we're at a game where it's like, oh my god, I can't afford the 2 silver piece shield, I better distort its value down to 1, so I'm out. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. I give me the equipment that my characters start with. It includes more money than that. I'm not worrying about pinching pennies and copper pieces. It's the gold standard economy. If it doesn't cost gold, it's free. It's how I run things. It's just not worth tracking the rest of it. We can say that your characters figure it out in post. Like that's enough for me. And Destroy Value definitely is like oh hey, look, I used some illusion and now it's worth 2 gold pieces instead of 1 gold piece. And I'm like, no. It's got a minute cast time. You just spent a minute casting this.
Oh god,
that's so bad.
I don't like, you say you like that it exists. I'm completely indifferent to its existence. It's a nothing spell.
I think there will be enough, and by that I mean like 5 people that see this as there being value here and go, oh, I want to do that character. And then this lets them do it, and they otherwise wouldn't have figured out the way to make that happen. Like, I think for new players, which this spell's not really aimed at, it's just like a new player that stumbles across this video specifically on the internet that's like, yeah, I kind of want to try that out. They will get value from it. Because it'll be fun. It'll be a forced RP moment. They will have to deal with consequences. It'll be a moment where they are the center of attention because this spell says I get to be the center of attention. When I successfully swindle a person, unless they make a good investigation check, which, I mean, if you're dealing with a gem dealer, their investigation is literally all they do. But yeah, it's for those people and those people only. It's a very small percentage of people. Everyone else, the spell is hot garbage. On those people, even, like, this isn't good for their character. This isn't like helping, really. This is just giving them a tool that could be done with RP that they don't know necessarily how to do with RP, right?
I wonder if we will look at comments though, because I don't know if you've looked at the comments for our last for our cantrips, but we had a couple people coming in defense of Blade Ward.
They're wrong
in specific situations.
Hold on, let me express one more time why they're wrong. The dodge action.
All right. Take a look at them. They heard us. Yeah, they listed very specific things that you can go take a look at later.
Okay, can do.
All right. Well, that's it though. We're done, right?
That's first level spells.
That's first level spells. First level
We
wizard
agreed on
spells.
a lot of them.
Yeah, that was I thought that was going to be a lot different.
Yeah, I think that wizards have a really robust, powerful first level spell list. I would go as far as to say, like,
I know that's why I was expecting the differences, just because there's so many to choose from.
I think Charm Person could have made this list. I think Charm Person's really good. I think there are, like, even Silent Image. It hurt me not to put Silent Image on this list, but it definitely is like a very niche player kind of spell to make it really good, and it's not that much better than Minor Illusion. Yeah, I think of all, like, if we're looking at the grand scheme of things, of every class and their spell lists at specific levels, and we're going to talk about what one I think has the largest impact on the game as a whole, I think it's probably first level wizard spells. I think, like, the game, the times the game is most shaped by is first level wizard spells by far. Find Familiar's outrageously impactful. All the like even Absorb Elements, which we didn't even touch on. It's another one of the reaction spells that wizards get, and it's a more niche one, but it is really good whenever it happens. Being able to be like, yeah, that 80 fire damage I was about to take is actually 40. So thanks for that. Very useful, right? Like, there are a robust list of them, and they are very, very good. Now there are some completely uncastable ones. But yeah, the first level wizard spell list is it's bangers across the board. Like the druid first level spell list, the wizard one, okay, this is some good stuff.
We'll look at the druids and all in good time. But that's going to do us for this session. Stay tuned for when we do level 2 spells and all the individual spell reviews and feat reviews and good fun stuff we have between now and then.
Cool.
This is thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. We will see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it, a gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.